Hi everybody, Judge Gudge here, and this is the first part in a series of videos about display basing. So everything you can see on screen now is what we're going to be discussing today, and these are some of the bits and pieces you can find, online or in your local town that you can use for display basing. So we'll go through some of these, show you some of the options, talk about what they are, and then this will follow on into another video which will be an actual tutorial on display basing. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Okay, so these are a couple of little resin plinths I bought from miniatureheroes.co.uk. They cost me a couple £2 each, and they're nice. They're just a little solid block of resin, nice sharp edges, very easy to use. So here's one I've used, and all I've done is stuck some putty and sand and stuff on top, and you've got a nice little plinth base there, just to make the model look a little bit more. Here's another one I've done with a cylindrical one, and I've just carved it out with some clippers and a knife and what have you. Glued some extra bits and pieces on, and there you go. So these are nice and easy to use, and you can just go online and buy them. Here we have a piece of wood, simple and easy to use. This was originally a banister rail I picked up at my local DIY store, just sawed a bit off the end, and there you go. You can just use a Dremel or some clippers, your hobby knife. It'll easily cut this up, as it's just a nice light piece of wood. So here's a model I've got on a wooden plinth base, and just using a hobby knife and a Dremel, you can remove a lot of it, and then just glue some extra bits and pieces to it, paint it up, and you're good to go. Nice and simple, and you can pick up a piece of wood anywhere. Okay, this is a purpose-built plinth base I picked up from my local model shop. It's by a company called MacLeod, and it's just a cast plastic base. Quite nice. It was designed for 1/16 figures, but you see, I think it works quite nicely. It's about the equivalent of 50mm, I think, but you can easily stick a character piece on there, and it looks quite nice. Very easy to use. You've got a nice flat surface to put everything on, and then you can just paint it black. There you can see a comparison to a 40mm base, so it's a little bit bigger, the working area, but very easy and simple quality results achievable with that. Okay, this is something I picked up in my local pound store. There's a pack of 4 of them, and they're caster cups. You put under the casters of your sofa or whatever to stop you damaging your carpet. Turn them upside down, spray it black, stick a model on top, jobs are good, and you've got a nice little display plinth there. You can easily stand a 40mm base on top, perfect size. So it looks a little more special on your shelf. Take it off when you want to game, and you're good to go. You could always fill it in if you wanted to do something a bit more special, put some plaster in it or something like that, and then you'll be able to Dremel it out and come up with something a bit more special. But like I say, it can work as easily just for a stand. Nice, simple, very cheap. Pick those up in your local pound shop. Okay, and if you're in need of something bigger, this will do the job, I think. It's a little plastic pet food bowl. You can easily fill that with some plaster or something, Dremel it out, add a bit more detail, but you could quite easily just spray it black, stick a killer can on top, dreadnought, whatever you want, and you've got a nice display plinth. just something I picked up in a local shop. I think it cost me 79p. Yep, absolute bargain. Okay, here is a plinth base I've made. This is a standard 50mm GW base. I've then cut some plastic card squares just to glue around the edge. I've then filled that with plaster, and you've got a display plinth base. It's a little more work than some of the other alternatives, but you have more control over the size of it and everything like that. But it's easy to work with. You can just Dremel it out, use your hobby knife and everything. You do need to be careful when dremeling plaster, as this will create a lot of dust. So you need to make sure you've got adequate protection and somewhere where cleanup is easy. But here's one I did for my Will figure from Leicester Bursley Miniatures, and yeah, it's nice. It's the same thing, exactly the same thing as you've just seen there, but hit that with the Dremel, glued some extra bits and pieces to it, and you've got a nice display base there. Okay, so here we have a box of toothpicks. You just take the top off, just peel the label off there, and we've got a little plinth base there. It's a nice hard plastic, should be easy to cut. Like I say, perfect fit for a GW square base there. Spray that back, you've got a nice little plinth to display a figure on. You could just fill that with some plaster. You know, use your Dremel or your hobby knife, razor saw, and add some detail to that quite easily. Similar setup to the previous base, but already made for you. And you could easily take the bottom of this box, cut the bottom off, and you'll have another one. So 2 for 1 there. Okay, so here we have a tube of denture cleaning tablets, I believe, but I have no interest in the contents of this tube. It is the tube that I want, and yeah, it's a nice hard plastic, nice and smooth, and I think you can cut that up into several pieces and probably get several display plinths out of that quite easily. And as you can see, it's a pretty good match for a standard GW round base there. Here we have a tube of toothpaste. Say once you've used all the toothpaste, you've got a nice fluted bottom there to give you a display plinth. Just take your saw out, cut the bottom off it. But also with this one, the lid is pretty much the same. You can fill that with plaster and Dremel that out, whatever you want. You've got another display plinth there. So nice tube of toothpaste and two display plinths. That's a bargain. And here we have a little tube of sweets. It's a little plastic tube, but it's a nice soft thin plastic, so we can easily cut this for whatever we want. This is not so much for a display plinth, but if you're building a base on a 50mm base, GW base there, and you just want to cover like a little bit around the back, get that nice black edge around the back there, then this is a pretty good fit, and we can just cut that section out and just stick it on the back there. That'll give us a nice smooth flat surface for the back. So here's an example. This is a piece I did for Games Day last year, and you can see there it's just covering a small piece around the back. Okay, and here we have a little tub of makeup, I think it was. I think it was at my mother's, and it was emptied, so I thought that's got some nice sharp edges, right, just about the right size for a GW base. I can fill those gaps in, sand it down, and you've got a nice squat plinth there. So it just goes to show you can find this stuff anywhere. And it's well worth keeping your eyes open for all sorts of things. I like to keep with me, just in my jacket or something, a couple of GW bases. That way when I'm in town, I see something, I think, oh, that might make a nice plinth. I can just whip out a base, check the size, good to go. Like I say, just, I saw this tube, got the base out of my pocket, perfect size, I'm having it. Buy it, and off we go. So, with all that bought, we can start making a base. And I think we'll start by making a base for this guy. It's the Chaos Cultist from the Dark Vengeance set I've painted up, and I think we'll use a little plastic tube to make him a nice display base. So join me in the next video, guys, where we'll be making this base. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to rate, comment and subscribe. Thanks a lot, guys.